Okay, the regular council meeting of June 26th will now come to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'm going to shut this down here so this thing don't go off. Okay, roll call please.
Clark?
Here.
Conan?
Here.
Adair?
Here.
Ballard?
Here.
Sledds?
Here.
Belkey?
Here.
Shaw is absent.
Oh,
Okay.
Ross statement.
Next, approval of the agenda. I would like to have, under new business, item C, scratched tonight for the council to read it and take it under advisement.
Any reason we can't have a discussion on it if I don't make a motion on it?
This is just my opinion, I would like to remove it. I think there's too many, it's a very, very broad-based report, and I don't think I think it would be too long to discuss it.
Oh, you're right, because there's projects in there.
There's a lot of things in there. That was just my request, that council can go with the way they like.
I don't have a problem pulling it or tabling it. Can everybody take a peek at it? And again, it's a suggestion.
It's not a table, it's to read and take it under advisement.
Okay. Well, I'd like to bring it back at the next meeting though and have a discussion. I need the motion out of it next meeting, but I'd like to have a discussion about it.
I think it needs to be narrowed down a lot. But anyhow, that's my suggestion, that be removed, and
I have a correction on minutes.
Do you need a motion to do that?
You have to do it as amended.
As amended.
You know,
As amended.
as amended.
I just tell council I have no objection. Take a look at it. Do not focus on the items. It could be any items. It's the process that we need to correct. So I'll table it I'll remove it. and-
Well, right now, we're just removing this from tonight.
Well, that's under
I'm
consent.
saying he's
That's under
holding it.
consent. We'll do it under consent.
Yeah, but it has to come out of consent.
It does,
right?
but the agenda gets approved as
Oh,
amended.
yeah.
Or as presented, either way.
So we're as amended.
Okay, so can I have a motion on the agenda?
Mr. President, I'll move the agenda be accepted as amended.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Are there a citizen comment? Please rise and state your name, please.
And please make sure that you signed in.
Yeah, I signed it. I'm Tom Mackey. I have the, live at 332 Main Street. I did the lean-to on my house. And I wrote a letter, talked to Becky, to the council, asking if you guys can look at the changes I proposed. I believe I was led the wrong way through the building department. And I would just like for you guys to read my letter and maybe get back with me on what you guys think.
During the citizens' comment, Mr. Mackey, we can't debate. This is just your time to talk to the council. We can't debate the issue.
Gotcha.
But we do have your letter,
Okay.
and we are pretty aware, most of us are pretty aware of your situation.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, I better move on quick. Oh, see, I didn't move on quick enough. Kathy. Go ahead, Kathy.
I'm Kathy Markle on Torrey Street, and just want to keep bringing in front of the council our need to have Torrey Street considered as #1 priority. It's not safe for walking on, it's not safe for biking on, it's not safe for driving on. So we want you to keep, and if there's anything, I know there's been some discussion about writing some grants. If there's anything some of us can do to help with that, I'd be happy to volunteer to help with any research or whatever needs to be done for grant writing.
Thank you. And you, Mr. Marslick,
So
I knew you couldn't.
So you just took something out off the agenda for tonight.
But it wasn't,
That's not
it wasn't
about
what
us.
you're
Well, that's not
interested in.
yours.
Perfect.
Does that make you feel
So
better?
now I'll make a comment at the end. Thank you.
Which there is citizens' comments again at the end. Right?
No, no, no.
Okay, then I better move on. Okay, administrative reports. Treasurer, you got something for us? Just what you handed us?
Give your report last.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
right.
gotta get back on the new schedule, so that is totally my fault. So-
Okay. Commissioners,
Doug is here from F&V and let him give the report for the sewer plant.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. During the month of May, the wastewater flow was down significantly. It was average daily flow about 206,000 gallons per minute. With the preponderance of the heat and such, we're down around 100,000 gallons a day right now, or thereabouts. So everything is looking good. We've experienced some high rain, as you know, for the past week. Plant's been running fantastically. Of course, we've done all of our routine maintenance accordingly. Last month, our electrical contractor, DFS, installed a new bucket, or basically the whole control unit down that was destroyed in last December in the flooding. Everything works good. At the same time, they also installed a new alarm system so that anytime we get basically anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of water on that ground, on the floor of the south gallery, we get an alarm that goes directly to my phone first, so I'll be able to respond to that. We have had no leakage since then, but we're keeping a close eye on with the amount of rain we've got in such a short amount of time. I don't think we're gonna have a problem, but we will be keeping an eye on it. Last month, BioGrow Agronomics came in and pumped out both of our sludge storage tanks. They pulled out a total of 229,500 gallons, which is injected into a local farm. So we have plenty of room now for our
so we know what farm that's going to?
It was, I don't know off the top of my head. We do get all the information from Eagle, Biotech, and everything else.
I know we've had them, you know, around
Right,
here.
it's within the half hour, I know, because they were making very quick time doing that. So, the new pumps that we had installed last year, the new, basically inflow pumps, all the pumps that take the raw wastewater to the plant. Number one has not worked since we had it. We called in Kennedy Industries, they came out and said there was physically no problem with the pump whatsoever. But what their diagnosis is, and I have yet for my electrical contractor to come back in, there's a weak signal, what they call the MCC, or the motor control center, in the old building. The power comes from there to the pumps outside. There's a weak signal between the old control cabinet that's in our laboratory and a motor control center. So physically, there's nothing wrong with the pump, but it's probably gonna cost a few dollars for the electrical contractor to come in, dig in, see what the heck is going on with
But
it.
you've contacted them?
Yes, so they're just waiting on a day to get back with me on that. But again, there's no problems with the pumps, which is, I'm happy about that, because they're brand new pumps. It's got less than an hour's time working on it. I cannot even physically turn the pump on and off using basically a local switch. It will not come on. So that is in, but the other two pumps are working fantastically. I've been alternating back and forth, and we're not experiencing any problem. Lastly, because of the firemen in the door, the entrance door, we've been solicited bids from different places. Swords and Gross, who was the general contractor, they came in with one of their people, it was $8,000. And we, basically, that's just out of range. We had a local guy that up near Yale that came in. I have to reach back out to him. We have not received as of yet the bid for that. I'm hoping it's significantly lower. I'm in contact with Steve daily, tell him what's going on. Other than that, the other thing is we found something that's very curious. We sample, we have an auto sample that is set up to pump 5 days a week. It starts pumping on Sunday, and Friday morning it's done sampling. We send samples out 5 days a week. Kath, Wynn, and I have been looking at it, and it seems like every Sunday, the numbers just go out of sight. You know, like 4 out of 5 Sundays, the numbers were just crazy. I was talking with Steve last week. We don't know, we can't put our finger on it, but he says it sounds like before something's going on, like cleaning at the granary or something. Something, they may clean it on Saturday night, and Sunday everything comes in. And we've had several high concentrations. And we've eliminated everything to the point where literally hand washing all of our sample bottles to make sure that there's nothing else in there, that it's a clean bottle. So I just wanted to make the council aware of that. We're having some issues with that. Everything with the treatment, all of the parameters are being met as far as aeration, everything else, getting rid of old sludge. It's just, it seems like every Sunday there's something going on. So I just wanted to make the council aware that we are seeing something like that. We're gonna try to figure out a way that we can.
Is there places you can sample throughout the community to see?
It is not so much that. I just like to think we look back at historical, and a lot of times all roads lead back to it.
Yep, I
And,
recall some of that.
but the way though that it's set up, we can't get a true reading because there are lateral lines, you know, the line that's coming from the greenery, there's other coming from the subdivision and such that gravity feed into the lab. So as I said, Kath will be here meeting with Ross tomorrow, and I'm anticipating talking with her to try to form up something else, some other plan of action that we can test from there and just find out maybe we're full of beans, or you know, maybe there is something there, sir.
So we're gonna continue looking.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
So like I say,
We want to get that pump 1 working.
Yeah.
yeah, we are, but as I said, 2 and 3 are fantastically, but yes, we want all 3 of them running, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
That cover you?
That pretty much covers me, other than, can you do anything with DT getting power to my house in St. Clair Shores? We lost it at 7 o'clock last night, and they're saying Wednesday.
You know,
Oh my God.
they called me and they says, look, we could either
Shut
cut
Armada.
out St. Clair Shores or cut out Armada. It's gonna have to be St. Clair Shores. We've experienced.
Can I borrow that huge generator then?
And don't quote me.
Thanks, Doug.
Take care. Y'all have a good evening.
Good luck.
Thank
If you want to be excused, you're excused
For what?
to leave. But you can stay if you like to.
Take care.
Okay, there's F&B. Who else would like to report, Commissioners?
You're gonna say lightning is striking twice here. I don't have a whole lot to talk about under my commissioner report. As Doug said, F&B will be here tomorrow. This is a monthly meeting that I've instituted because we were having performance issues. And the performance issues now, after several months of these meetings, have largely gone away. They're very valuable.
What's the performance issue, if I may ask?
I'm not concerned we're getting the time spent on the site by the operator in charge that we're paying for. And there are other things that they do for us that don't necessarily.
Testing the water testing.
Well,
and things,
he's doing
right?
all the testing, but if he's super efficient and he's getting it done in 15 hours instead of 20 hours, why am I paying for 20 hours?
Exactly.
So we've investigated that, plus we have tried very hard to get a ongoing personal relationship. We don't want a fly-by-night, and that's not what it is, but I use that phrase where somebody just rolls in, does a minimum and rolls out of town. We want somebody that understands our system, that anticipates problems, that talks with the DPW, that informs me of things that are going on, works with us on capital improvements.
There you go.
So on and so on and so on. So And so, as Doug said, we'll have a meeting with F&B, Catherine, the regional manager tomorrow, with the operator and the DPW supervisor, and we'll go through issues on their mind and on my mind, and make sure that they're resolved. So it's a good thing, and it's resulting in the improvements that I was expecting back in January when we talked to them. So
Okay. Are
that
there
it?
any other?
I was
alibi,
gonna
just
say,
that,
that's too quick.
we did the,
Jinxed it.
we
Thanks, Michelle.
I just wanted to let you know, well, this is something that's working well. So remember, we had problems with the arsenic detention sump, it was not draining, and so on and so on. We went through that about 6 to 8 months ago, and it was a continual problem. We believe we resolved the problem, and again, we continue to do a cycle of 2 to 3 plant backwashes. And then we vector, and that is now going very well. That's the right number. So we've reduced the amount of monthly vectoring we do, which ultimately saves us money in the water budget. So just a good news story. That's it.
Thank you.
Promise.
Very good. All right, Chris, you want to go?
I do, thank you. A few things,
Take a
so.
cue from Ross.
No. We're gonna switch roles now.
Make you write the report.
Lathrop Street reconstruction, so the first designs are completed. We're going to review here now and expect then to have them tied up in the next couple weeks. Then the bid packages and the specs all come out, so we expected them to be going out for quote and solicitation here July, August, so we can have September, October for construction, so.
I think they'll help it.
What's that?
I think we can get the,
Yeah. I can tell you that the soil boring, just and as I expected, that's why when I put all the estimates out for all these streets, these are not repaved, these are complete reconstructions. The soil borings are coming back that we have no suitable base materials for them, as well as there's not enough asphalt to use as a base material. So it's all gonna be removed.
can't just pave over something.
Yeah, we can't pave it and we can't use it as a base, there's not enough for it to be used as a base. So we're applying that again, the lessons learned from the drainage study of what's really caused the biggest amount of damage is the stormwater runoff over the years. So anyway, we'll be doing that and continuing forward with it. The the licenses that Jeff we're putting together are now complete. I'll be approaching yourself with the one on the Lathrop Street extension, as well as the agreement for the service sharing on the drive that connects through the granary property and orchards to get back to the 10-cent barn, and that is all, they're all complete, so I'll be presenting that here.
Is Lathrop the only one we did boring samples on?
No, so Church, Floral, and Fulton, Church, Floral, and Lathrop all together. We had a couple done north because Torrey or Church, that's the major street fund instead. That was done because that has a completely different set of standards on it. So I wanted to
So
get
are
that
all
one
of
done.
these streets in the same shape as Lathrop?
Pretty much is what they're, yeah.
So we can expect them all?
Yeah. Chris, are these the borings that we did as part of F&B's?
No, these are Rose's own individual ones on top of it, but they were very specific on what they were trying to target.
Okay.
Results are going to be, meaning the core is similar, but what they were looking for different conditions.
Okay.
So
Anyway, we can do 2 streets at one time, take all the pavement from one street.
combined, hey, not to say we can't put it over here at by the next hill by where the 10-cent barn area is across from it. Remove the one dirt pile, we'll put the asphalt in.
Yeah.
That's certainly a possibility in a couple of the other ones, especially when First comes out as well, and then anything else we would look at, so. But yeah, that's about the only way to
That's
do
a
it.
shame.
But they were talking also to just the depth, we're not even 8-9 inches of base, and we need 3 feet of material, so.
Chris,
A little bit short.
were you gonna put curb and gutter on that?
So that's part of the pack, and that's what we're evaluating how the design package works, because in some cases, because of how the water flows are, you'll never get to catch basins or whatnot, that it does provide us a way to do it. So we're working on looking at all the balancing acts of the things we can do with parking, too, especially on, like, say, the south side, where there really was shoulder parking anyways, if we just, and then did that as curb and gutter, we could maybe kill two birds with one stone, but we also have to see what that impact is on the cost of the program, so. All right. And I mentioned the maintenance cost agreement as well as the Lathrop Street
Yep.
right away. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, anybody else?
Just a,
Yeah.
You'll get it next
Yeah,
week.
you'll get it
Yeah,
next
it's
week,
once a
usually.
month.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so,
just a note, I'm looking at the DPW superintendent's report. Just a note, I see the same item, keeps showing up. He's asking for help from council, so I just say, we need to take a look at this item. And there was one on the code enforcers too. Somehow we need to come up with a process to deal with this. Because I would expect that eventually, if it gets resolved, for it to go away. I don't keep seeing it repeat.
I do, but it also should not be with Dave's report. There's no, I mean, I'm glad he shares it with us.
There may be a
That's not where
better,
it
there may
goes.
be a better way, but
Yeah.
I just,
But you're right, Gary's asked, or he's mentioned it, you've mentioned it before too, where we've seen the same item show up periods of time, so.
that's all.
okay. Again, one of the things you guys, because I know you meet with Dave on a regular basis, he's gotta take the budget process a little more serious. You can't just keep throwing stuff.
I got you.
You know, hey, I want this now. You gotta think things out. You
Very
gotta
budget.
cost them out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have that whole, we go through months for that budget.
Yeah, but this is not the budget on
Yeah.
Well, I'm
stuff.
okay.
This is
I know, I
This
saw
is
I read
complaint
the,
issue. So,
yeah. And some of those just aren't really part of the superintendent's, job. Okay, moving on, to the consent agenda. And,
Removing the minutes and adding it as
Yep.
new
Yeah.
business item C.
okay,
D or C again.
Yeah.
so can I, after removing the bill, the minutes, can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda? As amended.
Mr. President, I'll move to accept the consent agenda as amended.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Okay, no old business, new business. Well, this is kind of a sad deal. We thought we had this
Yeah,
pretty
we thought we
bad.
had one.
Yeah.
Part-time DPW employee.
So our previous, at the last meeting, we made that to accept, to make an offer to the employee, he did not accept, moved on to a different opportunity. And we had 3 candidates all told. The third candidate, the candidate I'm going to mention here, the second one in a minute, a third candidate actually was looking for full-time work, so it was somewhat defeating the purpose. And then our second candidate, Tom Villas, I forgot to see, I remember how he pronounced his name when I talked to him. Was our applicant that has reasonable experience, but was a little higher in the dollar than we were or we wanted in the first place, but still something that, within our budget numbers, so.
Oh, if you want to talk
So-
to him.
I did, we did. He was the second candidate from when I made the motion the last
Yeah.
time.
So are you making a motion
Yep, I would
now?
like to make a motion to extend Thomas Villas, I'm sorry if I
spell that?
mispronounced. Vilas.
Oh.
And Thomas. An offer of part-time employment with the Village of Armada Department of Public Works at a rate of $18 per hour, starting after pre-employment background check, physical, and drug screen.
Support.
Who wants it?
Who else?
Okay. I gave it to you, Ross.
You need a roll call.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep.
Okay, you want to call the roll?
No, I mean, it's part-time. Do we want to change it to part-time seasonal employment, or do you have an end date in mind, or?
So we budget, well, initially we budget April through November.
So
it gets us through-
ending November
So
30th?
ended November 30th.
So
I'm
do we
sure.
want to say to offer a part-time, and offer a part-time employment with the village of ending, after Public Works ending November 30th, 2023. Good, I didn't think.
Ending November
Yep,
30th,
ending,
2023, at a rate of, okay.
yep, okay, all right, so you're okay, you guys are both okay
Sure.
with that, Ross?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
since you seconded, okay, all right. Sleds,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Adair,
Yes.
Ballard.
Yes.
Okay, what was his name again?
Tom Beal.
Tom
And
Vilas, or Vilas,
VILAS.
Vilas.
Okay. So next, item B, to accept the final version of the infrastructure capital improvement plan from F&B Engineering. Who wants that one? It's kind of the three of you guys.
Sure. I submitted it, so at the last meeting, we talked about just providing a little bit of an update on the capital, on the, what do we want to call it? The capital improvement planning and funding summary. So I wanted, and I wrote a very brief update on that to get to a resolution, but I went back today and thought about it a little bit, and I'm going to read this, try to do it slowly, so I get it all out, so that everybody kind of understands the bigger picture here. So excuse me that I'm not going to do this off the cuff. So one of the primary responsibilities of village municipal government is to manage and maintain the facilities and infrastructure we have in the village. It's not a surprise. To that end, I personally think we have done a pretty good job in some of the village department areas recently over the last couple of years, such as performing upgrades to the wastewater treatment plant. I think the plant's in great shape. Water treatment plant, the well houses, the water tower, and ongoing work that Chris is doing on local streets like Lathrop and the recent bridge approach work. It's what we're supposed to be doing. Seeing the work, figuring out how to fund it, and then getting the work done. Over the last 3 years, I think council has also developed a full appreciation that the water, wastewater, and street commissioners need to work together on a comprehensive approach to distribution system upgrades. Distribution systems being water lines, sewer lines, roads, streets. Based on a dig once methodology. It's really a best practice in the industry. You don't want to do something and go back and tear it up 2 years later because you haven't anticipated other issues that are related to it. Doing infrastructure work unilaterally and performing single department distribution system upgrades unless the infrastructure conditions allow for that approach risks wasting funds that we simply don't have. We don't have a lot of money. Not a surprise again. This capital improvement planning and funding summary has moved beyond the 2021 infrastructure CIP, capital improvement plan, CIP update that we did, which was largely focused on water. And that was because we needed more information on streets and sewer. This now completed effort has identified the very worst water, wastewater, and street distribution infrastructure we have in the village, where parts of the system sit on top of each other, which is important. If we got a road on top of a water line and a sewer line, we need to know that and prepare for that when we do the work. And we ranked these into priority repair and secondary repair categories. Incidentally, Tori is in the priority repair category. I know you'd be happy, Ken. As part of this work, we have also produced maps, which the DPW generally didn't have. I think that's attributed to the fire we had 20 years ago, that much better show distribution system locations, sizes, and current condition assessments. We also did some street boring work, which we just talked about. Chris has done some additional, and we assessed sewer manhole conditions. So we did a lot of good work over this last year. Finally, we put current costs to the repairs needed. And it's a large bill. It's about $16 million to do everything. But if there's any good news, it's, I would tell you, it's less than I expected it was gonna be. And the report also goes into some detail about where the most likely funding sources that we have to pursue for the infrastructure work. We really didn't want pie in the sky stuff that we're never gonna do. What are the 3 or 4 principal ways we could get money for this? So this assessment effort and report was our logical next step. And there may be some disagreement on this, but our standard answer to the need for distribution system infrastructure repairs was we don't have the money. But it was also essentially masking the fact that we hadn't taken the time to understand the infrastructure needs, back of the napkin stuff that the previous superintendent did was good, but it wasn't the detail we needed. And we didn't know what the cost was. So we have now done that. What does this report not do for us? This report does not tell us how to actually approach the physical task of performing the infrastructure work, select and prioritize the specific work to be done, determine how extensive the upgrades will be, or solve the issue of how to actually fund the work or where to get the funding. To be clear, that was never part of this effort. It wasn't intended to be. But that now becomes the next logical step. So that next logical step requires us to do some preliminary design engineering and determine where and how to get the funds to do the work in the plan. This all needs to be completed with an understanding that costs continue to go up, labor remains in short supply, there are material shortages, and project delays today are common. So I would recommend we come up with the funding to contract for preliminary design engineering. Now that recommendation is in the report. And we would do that so that we know the most efficient way to tackle the infrastructure work, how to sequence it, understand what the construction alternatives are. Chris has brought some of those up. Maybe we don't fully pave, maybe we crush and grind and do something like that. We need to understand where that's appropriate and not. And consider what parts of the work could be deferred until a later date. That would put the costs in clearer perspective. So the 16 million may go down, may go up. I think they may go down. So the ideal completion date for a preliminary design engineering report would be December 2023, which is 6 months from now, so that we can consider its impact in the FY 2024, FY 2024, 2025 budget. Recall that I've said for the past 2 years that the first best opportunity to begin any type of infrastructure improvement effort would be in FY 24 and 25. So we should strongly consider that recommendation to do the preliminary design engineering to now, because if we don't, we're essentially going to push and get it in, put it into the budget or have that be an additional expenditure this year pulled from general funds. Because if we don't do it, it's going to push this down the road another year and a half before we can really understand what we should truly do with this bad streets, bad water lines, so on. So yes, that item is not in the budget, and it brings up the use of unassigned funds that are in the general fund. So I would ask that the capital improvement planning and funding summary be accepted as complete by council, formally concluding the current contract effort with F&V Engineering. I do want to recommend a couple changes. I would like the title to be changed to Street Water and Infrastructure, Street Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Capital Improvement Planning and Funding Summary, just so it's more definitive on what it is. And there needs to be an adjustment in the pagination. And was asking, where's page 11? There never was 11 pages, only 5 pages. So if council will allow me to do that after you accept the plan, and I've not gotten any questions, comments from anybody on the plan, so I'm assuming it's sufficient to everybody. It tells us what we need to know, that I'd like to accept it, close out that contract. F&B does owe us some maps, so I'll get those as part of that process.
So you're asking to have this study, do you have an idea of what the cost involves, since it's not in the budget?
I'm estimating about $15,000 to $20,000.
Well, right now, if I'm understanding our agenda, we're accepting the plan that they gave us,
Just-
not these other things you're talking about. You kind
Not
of got a
to
little
do
bit
any
of,
preliminary.
you kind of got away from the plan that happened to be, so I think we need a motion to accept that. Now, that being said, I don't know that you want to put together for every, you could, if you, I've gone through this plan, and I know some of you have, we can't all do this in the next year or two, I don't believe.
Well, that's what I'm asking, is
No.
just
Explain what you
asking.
mean by that.
I don't think we can do everything, the underground, the paving, everything in the next year or two.
That's not what preliminary
Yeah.
design engineering does.
I know, but I don't know that we wanna, design 10 streets, I don't, maybe we should.
Well,
Right now, we're just supposed to be approving that plan.
right, understanding that a recommendation in here is to do the preliminary design engineering. I'm not making a motion tonight on that, but that is the logical next step.
And they pretty well almost kind of say that you'd be lucky to get any grant money, is kind of the way I was reading it. I didn't like reading it that way, because I'd like to hear them say you're getting it,
But
but
that's
I
what,
kind of got the feeling that they were saying, you'd be pretty lucky to get it.
We are.
You need to
And it
plan without
specific- Well, you do, but yes. And largely because of monies we already hit, you can't hit the same fund over and over again. West Main is what hit us, and that was a large contribution, that's what's
We
kept the
did
state
north,
going.
south,
Right,
east,
but
west,
that was the
main.
last one, and so basically, 4 to 5 year separation is what they're looking at. So I still hit the applications, the same one every year.
But actually, it's
And
been,
we know
5
it's, we're
years
there,
since
so we're right there in the end where we'll see.
well, I put in for grants too, but we're just,
Yeah,
we're not winning.
but-
so.
Yeah.
so let's
They want the
get
big
this
dollar
motion
value.
about accepting this capital improvement.
Yeah, but I wanna ask, are there any questions here? So we're just accepting the plan, other than I'm gonna go back and say adjust the title and fix the pagination, so, and we just accept the plan,
I never heard that word before.
pagination?
Yeah.
Pagination? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pagination.
So what type
Auto
of
pay.
commitment does it require us to make?
At this point, it sits, and so it's either gonna sit on the shelf for the next 20 years, or we're gonna take the next step. That's, the next step is.
Well,
The
that's
next
what we
step-
gotta
The next step
determine.
is a different motion.
It's
not-
a different, yes,
Right.
it is a different
Yes,
motion,
that's-
but the logical next step is to do some preliminary
Just to start
design
acting-
engineering. And we
Start
can,
acting on the plan.
we can put it in the budget for next year. I'm just telling council, it just keeps moving the ball down the road.
But we can narrow things down, because like Dave
Absolutely.
said, we just can't look at that whole picture.
Right.
No,
And
I
odds
can't.
are, I mean, when did we ever, I said the same thing too, it comes at 16.7. Just think of even what we had now. What project has ever come up at the quote, even though they come up with these great estimates?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the filters
You
in
don't,
the water
right? I got
plant.
that, but look at our, it was 2.7 to 3.2 million, and the lowest bid was 4.9.
Yeah, he's right.
I got a feeling the same thing here. Even my all our assessments are off by about 50%. When they actually get the final quotes in, they're even more. I mean, it's like you think you're dialing in on lessons learned of, the material's even more expensive, but then it
Well, that's why as you
increments.
narrow it down, then again, do this preliminary.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'd like to see us do something
And
by
you said
it.
if it
Well, that's what-
I like the
project
time
at a
frame you're talking about,
Yeah.
maybe not the entire report though.
Right.
Agreed.
Well,
That's what
right.
Ross is saying. too.
I am not saying you have to do all this stuff. I'm just saying,
That's a priority.
I'm not an engineer, and so I'm not qualified to look at this and say what to do or what alternatives to asphalting, are appropriate here, or how we can, or that line is okay, let's leave that one alone for a while, but let's do that one. That's what an engineering company is gonna do. That's why I'm
What,
saying
yeah.
that is the logical next step. We can do it in a year, we can do it in 2 years, we can do it in 3 years. It's just our job is to keep this moving forward in some way. So this is just accepting that this is now a pretty darn good look at where the true needs in the village are and where we ought to put our time and attention. How we do it, what's the sequence, how much of it we do, when we do it, all of that is up in the air, and that's the next logical step, is to look at that stuff.
I'd like to look at that first section there. So,
It's in
that
here.
first
It's in
section
here.
there.
Yeah.
You have it.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
Okay,
So I'll make a
anyhow,
motion.
let's get that,
So wait,
sure.
Ross, are you gonna put on here, at the end, and to request that Row Engineering change the title to? Because this is what is gonna be in file, on file, it would be confusing in 10 years when I'm not here, for somebody to understand.
So the title and the pagination?
Yeah.
You have to use that word.
Can I just say title, do I have to go through, because that's a mouthful.
I would just say to
Change
accept
the
the,
title.
and to change the title to the
Okay.
water sewer, whatever you say.
I can do it.
Huh?
All right.
Water, sewer, street.
Street,
Yeah, I got it,
Yeah.
I can do it.
Or you say
All right, I'm gonna
streets to the
make a
title.
just to,
motion
and to request it.
to accept the F&V capital improvement, strike out infrastructure, because there I go. Capital improvement report as presented at the 12 June 2023 meeting, village council meeting, and to have the contractor change the title
How about,
to,
and to request, because it's Row, right?
no,
F&V.
F&V.
Oh, to request F&V Engineering
Change the title.
to change the title to,
Street, water, and wastewater infrastructure, because that's all it's talking about. Capital improvement, planning, and funding summary.
So,
you
And
have that
correct-
in here.
And correct the pagination, yeah, it's right up at the top here.
okay.
So.
So you wanna read that motion? We're not putting pagination in there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know how to spell
It's the way it
pagination.
sounds.
So I'm not
But don't put
sure.
it, but don't put an E in it.
Well,
Sorry,
I don't know about pagination, but you don't lack imagination.
I like that. You gotta do it, because somebody will look at it and they'll see 11 pages and.
Okay, but change the page numbering then.
That's right.
Who needs that? That's Lyle says. Change the page numbers, correct the page.
And
numbers.
adjust page numbering, correct.
Okay, so that was Ross's,
Yeah.
motion.
Okay.
In a
I'll support.
second.
Thanks for helping me get there.
Well, I just, like I said, it's just gonna be really confusing in the future.
And if this,
I meant to do that, Michelle, and
it's still under discussion here, well, have we got the motion to the, we gotta get a second to the motion.
Yeah.
Steve,
Yeah,
Okay.
correct, Stephen.
So after this, if this gets approved, can we give any of our citizens a copy of this report?
I think so, it's.
Well, you've
foilable.
accepted it. I mean, you've accepted it, so it's public
You
record.
know, I don't personally can think of a reason not to, but I just wanna
Yeah,
make sure everybody,
Well, it's, yeah, it'll be public record once we accept it,
Yeah.
yes.
okay. So you wanna read the motion and,
You want me to read it?
yeah, read the
To
pagination.
accept the F&V capital improvement report as presented at the 12 June 2023 Village Council meeting, and to request F&V Engineering to change the title to Street, Water, Wastewater Infrastructure, Capital Improvement Planning and Funding Summary.
and correct.
Okay, and that's
Correct page
motion.
number.
And correct page numbers.
And correct page
correct
numbering.
the page numbers.
And that's motion by Belkey, supported by Clark. And we could do that, just all
Yeah.
in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, thank you.
So you could probably pick up a copy of that, or you would like to, you asked them
Yeah, I'd
to
love
get a
it.
copy?
There's no government secrets in it.
So just pick up a copy here Monday?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so,
You may wanna give me a day or two to get the title changed. I want you to-
Oh my God.
well,
that is
they
the
can, you can
longest
get,
title
you can
I've
get
ever
a
heard.
copy of what we got, which is this
Yeah.
report right here.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
You don't have to have,
Coming in, where's page 11?
you know,
yeah.
but,
I
Went
would
to
explain
number
it.
6 through 11.
okay.
All right,
So,
now the minutes. 'cause we-
now we gotta, yeah, item C was changed
It's just
to
a
the
minor
correction
thing,
of the
but-
minutes.
Page 3 of the minutes, under item C, you have me down as street administrator Clark as council. It's sewer.
Okay, so page 3, I have you where?
Wastewater commissioner is so much more elegant.
Item C, just under.
Oh, street administrator,
Yeah.
sure, I typed that out too.
I didn't
That's
understand.
great. And they didn't capitalize the administrator. So, sewer commissioner.
That's all.
Oh,
Good catch, Steve.
Yeah.
That went through 3 of us, and
Yeah.
not one of us caught it, so.
I didn't want to be in charge of the streets too. I just got enough going.
Oh, didn't we
You
tell
know
you?
that?
Didn't Chris tell you?
No.
Sorry. Okay,
Caught it.
so are you gonna make the motion then, Steve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Support.
Alright. So approve the minutes of June 12, 2023, regular meeting of the village council as amended, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I said, yes.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Okay, moving on. Upcoming agenda items.
Concert in the park? Oh, yeah,
Nope, not yet, that's not an agenda
That's
item.
not yet.
yeah,
Jumping the gun, Mike's not here.
I know.
DTE is supposed to come in and give us a presentation. And
You want us to put DTD on the agenda?
I would
That's
Okay,
under presentation, so.
poke them and say, get in here.
we'll put that under presentations.
Okay.
That
I mean,
way-
it should, I told them less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, well then, again, that'll be right at the beginning of the meeting.
And I would like to bring back this other item I can take out, because I just really want to have the discussion. The items I put in there were just recommendations to get the ball rolling, but I'll take them out of there and let's just have a discussion. There will be no motion. Just need to figure out how we.
So you can do that under administrative,
If you want.
instead of it being an agenda item, because that's where.
Again,
action-
I think you need to look at various areas.
I do, I don't dispute that at all. This should be, everybody should have inputs.
But
We'll leave it at that.
you know, we have a lot of things in place on this, but, okay, anyhow. Do we have any additional citizens comment?
Yeah.
I knew you would.
First of all, the street light, any idea on the street light when that might be coming?
Good call. I actually had that as a follow-up on my own too, because we've approved that over a month ago.
We should.
Yeah.
And I did see that it's all been signed and returned.
Yep, it
It's
is.
going, I think, on the corner of Torrey and
Franklin.
right on the, is it, I think by Dave's house, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I'm thinking,
Yeah,
okay.
sure, they're on the corner. I keep thinking if Lorraine's was on the corner, or she's the one right after that.
Lorraine.
It's
yeah,
right
on the
here.
corner,
Right, Dave
Lorraine
Lorraine.
is, yeah, Dave and Lorraine.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so yeah, I just wondered, hey, I'm just glad we're getting it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's all been returned to them, so ball's in DTE's court.
Okay, and then the report, then I'll just wait maybe a week or so?
Yeah,
If you don't, if
Yeah,
If
oh
you
gosh,
don't
it's
mind the
okay.
title-
Hey, I'm a bit.
You can come in and get it, you can come and get it tomorrow, you can have what we
I
got.
don't mind the old title, that's fine. I mean,
You know,
Yeah.
what you really
Yeah.
wanna see is
you
the,
can come in
and there's
tomorrow.
only 5
Okay.
pages, there's not 11, it says,
Okay,
it says
yeah, I
5
don't
of
have time
11.
for 11 pages, 5's perfect.
We wanted it,
But it's real small print.
Yeah,
Hey,
you know,
I
you're-
hate having to wear my reading glasses.
Well,
but I
you're gonna
will do
need
it.
magnifying glasses for that one.
My next question is, on that report, does it show if Torrey needs water and sewer?
Yes, it
Or
does.
is that the next step?
Nope, it does. It
Okay,
does.
okay.
It does.
but again, doing citizens' comments, this is your time to talk to the council. It's not time
Oh,
for a
that,
debate
yeah,
or
and that's,
anything.
I'm not debating, I'm just
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
And then also, the preliminary design engineering, and you were talking about hopefully having that done by the end of the year,
If,
possibly.
We're not answering that, we're just listening to you tell us.
Okay, well, that's fine, you don't have to answer. So that's a concern, because the sooner we get that done, the sooner we can move along to, you know, like, we're hoping to have it done in
Amen.
2-3 years, you know. I'm okay with the timeline, but like you said, we gotta kind of get things going.
I look forward to seeing you every 2 weeks for the
Amy's-
next few
Amy's
years.
free. She should.
I'm gonna try and cut it down to once a month. so, and then after we get that part done, you know, maybe in the next 6 months, then we can try and apply for bonds. Is that the next step? Because it doesn't seem like we're gonna get any grant money. So,
Well, again,
That's another.
Yeah,
again,
it's
you're
another
just
discussion.
asking, you're
yeah,
just mentioning this to the
I'm just bringing
council.
it up just for you to, just to
Okay.
talk, so.
That's fine.
So yeah, so, I mean, I'm just anxious to kind of see it moving, and everything's going great, and I can't wait to see the report, and thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments.
I wanna
Yes,
thank
yes.
these two guys for their help.
I was just wondering, back at the last meeting that I was at, and forgive me, I can't remember the date of the last meeting that I was at, it was like a few weeks back. But it was talked about, this report was due by a certain date, and I thought it was April. Was it April? Okay, and at that time, I think Ross, you had mentioned, because this report now just got done at this point in time, where we actually got the results back, that you were going to talk about getting a return on what we paid for that, because they did not, in good faith, meet that deadline.
Mind if I answer very quickly?
Okay,
Just that we had, as part of this, contracted for maps of water, street, sewer, infrastructure, and we got those for free. And we also threw in a police map that we got for free. So that's
That was a trade-off.
because they were
Okay.
late, that was our
So that was like your compensation?
consideration
Yeah.
on the contract for being late.
Okay, okay, thank you.
are there any other citizen comments? Okay, moving on here, under council comments.
Not community events, right?
No. Under council comments, so, I do have a question though. That, seeing how we do have this report, do you think if we went to the, maybe like the first week in, the first meeting in August or something, we could have what we wanted, what preliminary engineering or whatever we'd like to do? It kind of, it's kind of tied into your departments. Would that be unreasonable request?
I would say the two logical places to, I keep using logical, two places to go talk to would be Rowe, because we do use those guys, and F&V Engineering. I would ask both of them, what would it cost to,
What's our next step?
to take this information
You know,
and provide now a,
What's the best
and
way to
again, if they
proceed?
can help with the
Yeah.
road, you know, the engineering firm should be able to help us here. Also, a road map, not only of what we need to do, but also, you know,
God proceed.
financial aid.
Well, and maybe also help us pick and choose
I was gonna
what's
say,
the
it's
best
gonna be
way
what's the,
to.
what's
You
the
know,
best bang for the buck.
If there's
Yeah,
some
that's
areas you
good.
think that maybe we could shoot, you know, roll the dice on, some areas.
well, as an example, does he need a complete rebuild of some of his sewers, or can he just reline them? Relining them is gonna be a lot cheaper. Would Chris accept crush and grind instead of asphalt? Would the community accept that, if it's a nice level
No.
road surface? I mean, these are all questions that keep the cost down,
I know, but.
Hey, we're not
I
having
don't
this
need-
debate
Yeah.
now. We're just talking about what we're looking
I
at in the
understand.
future.
So, yeah.
And we'll work through, whatever we do, we go through engineers. We don't, it's not coming off the top of any of the heads here.
Yeah. So as part of that request, could you do it? Then it's how
Right.
long would it take?
Yeah, but can you three get back to us in a
Yeah.
month?
I think so.
Is that
August, you
reasonable?
said? First meeting in August?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, are there any other council comments? Okay. Community events.
Joe's been waiting for it.
Man,
Concerts in the park,
Yes.
every Wednesday. Make sure you come out, bring your kids, bring a pizza, have a good
Okay.
time.
Do we have anything in the 4th of July coming up in town?
they'll have the concert in the park as their 4th of July.
Yeah,
The next
okay.
thing.
Party.
Okay,
Yeah, Uncle Sam Jam, that's what.
there we go. Okay, now we have no closed sessions tonight. So I guess I would entertain a motion.
Time is 7:56. I move to adjourn.
Support.
Motion by Ballard, supported by Clark. All in favor?
Aye.